Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for choosing to watch this video. Now, I have a duty as an Episcopal priest to inform you that Mother's Day is not a designated feast day on the liturgical calendar of the Episcopal Church. I found the story of the beginnings of Mother's Day on Wikipedia, whose main source was a PhD dissertation by Catherine Lane and Anatolini in 2009 called Memorializing Motherhood, Anna Jarvis and the Struggle for Control of Mother's Day. Anne Reeves Jarvis was a social activist and founder of Mother's Day work clubs. As a woman defined by her faith, she was very active within the Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church community in Grafton, West Virginia. It was during one of the Sunday school lessons of 1876 that her daughter, Anna Jarvis, allegedly found her inspiration for Mother's Day, as Anne closed her lesson with a prayer stating, "I hope and pray that someone, sometime, will found a memorial Mother's Day commemorating her for the matchless service she renders to humanity in every field of life. She is entitled to it." On May 10, 1908, 3 years after her mother's death, Jarvis held a memorial ceremony to honor her mother and all mothers at Andrews Methodist Episcopal Church, today the International Mother's Day in Grafton, West Virginia, marking for the first official observance of Mother's Day. Although Jarvis did not attend this service, she sent a telegram that described the significance of the day, as well as 500 white carnations for all who attended the service. As she spoke in Philadelphia at the Wanamaker Store Auditorium, she moved her audience with the power of her speech. Although the national proclamation represented a public validation of her efforts, Jarvis always believed herself to be the leader of the commemorative day, and therefore maintained her established belief in the sentimental significance of the day to honor all mothers and motherhood. Jarvis valued the symbolism of such tangible items as the white carnation's emblem, which she described as its whiteness is to symbolize the truth, purity, and broad charity of mother love, its fragrance, her memory, and her prayers. The carnation does not drop its petals, but hugs them to its heart as it dies. And so, too, mothers hug their children to their hearts, their mother love never dying. When I selected this flower, I was remembering my mother's bed of white pinks. Jarvis frequently referred to her mother's memory during her efforts to maintain the sentimental heart of the day, while also maintaining her own role as the founder of the holiday. In addition to her efforts to maintain her position and recognition as the holiday's founder, Jarvis struggled against forces of commercialization that overwhelmed her initial message. Among some of these forces were the confection, floral, and greeting card industry. The symbols that she had valued for their sentimentality, such as the white carnation, easily became commodified and commercialized. By the 1920s, as the floral industry continued increasing prices of white carnations and then introduced red carnations to meet the demand for the flower, Anna Jarvis's original symbols began to become reappropriated, such as the red carnation representing living mothers and the white carnation honoring deceased mothers. She attempted to counter these commercial forces in various ways. However, her efforts to hold on to the original meaning of the day led to her own economic hardship. While others profited from the day, Jarvis did not. In 1943, she began organizing a petition to rescind Mother's Day. However, these efforts were halted when she was placed in the Marshall Square Sanitarium in Westchester, Pennsylvania. People connected with the floral and greeting card industries paid her bills to keep her in the sanitarium. Now, I only just learned this story, but clearly the complicated realities of Jarvis's relationship to the direction of Mother's Day also speaks to me towards deeper Mother's Day's reality beyond commercialism. I've always tried to include Mother's Day in our liturgical Sunday service because of the realities that families are often gathered here to celebrate and honor Mom, who is often the driving force to get everyone to church. It makes sense to honor the desire to celebrate moms. both our biological mothers and our relational ones. But truth be told, Mother's Day is a hard day for many. Those who've lost their mothers, those estranged from their mothers, those who never knew their mothers, and those who wished to be mothers and never were. And perhaps most profoundly, mothers on Mother's Day who have outlived their children. I'll be calling and giving glad tidings to the mothers in my life for the rest of the day, and it will hopefully be mostly joyful moments. But as far as church goes, I've settled in a place best illustrated by a Lutheran pastor named David Hansen. He first offers a descriptor of his prayer for Mother's Day, writing, "Mother's Day is a day of joy for others and a day of grief for others. For many, it lives in the complicated space where those two emotions meet. This prayer invites into the complexity of the day." So let us pray. This Mother's Day, give thanks for loving, wonderful mothers who have given their children so many invaluable gifts. Give thanks for new mothers welcoming new life into the world. Give thanks for those who choose their children, for adoptive and foster parents who model the adoptive love of God. Give thanks for aunts and godmothers and neighbors who share maternal love with so many children, and for far too often overlooked stepmothers. Give thanks for those who choose to remain without biological children, sharing love with the world in many ways. Pray for the many mothers who have had to bear the unimaginable burden of bearing a child, and those who have borne the silent grief of stillbirth or miscarriage. Pray for those who struggle with infertility, whose desire for a child is met with frustration. Pray for the mothers of children with special needs and chronic illness, who know anxiety and exhaustion better than most. Pray for those who were given abuse and heartbreak by the ones called to love them. Pray for mothers who have made the difficult and loving decision to entrust a child to adoptive parents. And pray for those whose mothers have died, who on this day celebrate and grieve their mothers in her absence.